Good morning dear cadets. Today I am going to teach you electrical properties. Actually yesterday only I started, but before teaching this one there was one necessary thing, that is the origin of charge on colloidal particle, that was needed to be taught properly. So yesterday we have completed that one. Now what is the conclusion of that yesterday's discussion? The important conclusion of yesterday's discussion is minimum amount of charge is required for each colloidal particle so that they can repel each other. So why minimum amount of charge is required? So that they can repel each other, and that repulsion is required for their stability. Otherwise, if repulsion is not there, charge is not there on their surface, so they will come together and they will aggregate, they will collect it together and they will settle down, and settling down is not a property of colloidal solution. So for the stability of colloidal particles, minimum repulsion or minimum amount of charge is required on their surface. Now if you understood the origin of charge on colloidal particle, so these two properties of colloidal particle can be explained very easily, that is electrophoresis and electroosmosis. You just see here, what is the electrophoresis? Just see, you make this diagram. This is U-type tube, and what is this one? This is reservoir for colloidal solution, So just try to understand here. This is U tube, and here I fitted two electrode. One is the cathode, that is the positive charge, and this is anode, that is the negative charge. Remember this one. This is means this is one type of cell. And see, in case of electrolytic cell, anode is positive, so make this one positive and make this one negative. Now just try to understand here. Here I took one negatively charged colloid, that is arsenic sulfide. And when we supply electricity through these electrode, what are they? These two are electrode, okay? These two are electrode. So under the influence of electricity, this negatively charged colloidal particle move toward the positively charged electrode. So just try to understand, this colloidal particle, they will move toward this side. So here you can put this sign. All colloidal particle, they will move here from this side to, just see this sign, because this electrode is positively charged and this sol is negatively charged. So they will migrate toward this electrode and they will be collected here. They will be collected around this one. So make this sign like that, like a positively charged electrode. So just try to understand, if sol is negatively charged, means if colloid is negatively charged particle, so they will migrate toward the anode. If they are positively charged, so they will migrate toward the cathode, because anode has got positive charge and cathode has got negative charge in electrolytic cell. So this arrangement is nothing but a electrolytic cell arrangement only. So since arsenic sulfide is negatively charged sol, that is why it will migrate toward the anode. Now suppose here positively charged sol you have taken, so that will migrate toward the cathode. Everything is written here. So dispersed phase particle which are negative charge migrate towards, here write anode, migrate towards anode. Anode is positive charge, okay? They will migrate towards anode. No problem. So ultimately, what is the definition of electrophoresis? It is the process of migration of colloidal particle toward the positively charged electrode under the influence of electric field. Always remember, electrophoresis is the name of one phenomenon in which colloidal particle migrate toward the positively charged electrode under the influence of electricity. If electricity is there, then only they will migrate. If electricity supply is not there, so they will not migrate. So this property is known as electrophoresis. And do you know what is the reason why they are responding towards the electrical field? Because they themselves are charged particle. If they would not have been charged particle, they could not have migrated toward the oppositively charged electrodes. That is why origin of charge on colloidal particle I taught first only. So in this way electrophoresis is over. Now another property, that is electroosmosis, that is also like that only. Dear cadets, just remember here one thing that is very important, that this area only these colloidal particle will be deposited. So here write one word, accumulation of colloidal particle. Which type of colloidal particle? Arsenic sulfide, that is negatively charged colloidal particle. Now suppose here you have taken positively charged colloidal particles, so they will migrate toward this side. So in this way this is over. Now what is the next one now? Next one is electroosmosis. So dear cadets, now I am going to teach you the new property, that is electrical property, that is electroosmosis. What is electroosmosis? Suppose electro word I am removing from here. So what is left now? Osmosis. What is the meaning of osmosis? Osmosis is the process of migration of solvent particle through semi-permeable membrane from low concentrate solution to higher concentrate solution. Once again listen carefully. What is the osmosis? Osmosis is the migration of solvent particle through semi-permeable membrane from low concentrate solution to higher concentrate solution. That is the definition. Now just see. I am teaching you here osmosis with reference to the colloidal solution. So in colloidal solution, solvent word we can't use. What we can use? Dispersion medium. So just see, the definition is same only. Where solvent is there, use word dispersion medium. So what is this one? It is the process of migration of dispersion medium particles through semi-permeable membrane under the influence of an electric field. And just see, normal osmosis rate is slow, but if you supply the electricity, then the rate of osmosis will increase. That is why this is known as electroosmosis. So what is the meaning of electroosmosis? It is the process of migration of dispersion medium particle through semi-permeable membrane under the influence of an electric field. Now just see, these two are electrode, this side and this side. That is the cathode, this is the anode. Here what is there? Here you have taken solvent. Here also you have taken solvent. And both solvents are separated by the semi-permeable membrane. This one and this one is a semi-permeable membrane. And in between two semi-permeable membrane, you have taken the colloidal solution. Okay. Now develop the electrical field here. Supply the electricity here. Then what would be there? Either side or this, either this side or this side. These, now I am making here, these colloidal particle, these dispersion medium particle from this colloidal solution will migrate toward this side. So the volume of this one, this side solvent or dispersion medium will decrease, while B side will increase, because from the colloidal solution dispersion medium particle. What is the meaning of semi-permeable membrane? Semi-permeable membrane is the membrane which allow the smooth passage of dispersion medium or solvent particle, but does not allow the solute particle or dispersed phase particle. So here colloidal solution colloidal solution we have taken. So this semi-permeable membrane will not allow the dispersed phase particle to come out. It will allow only dispersion medium particle to pass through it. That is why the compartment B volume will increase, while this one will decrease. Okay. So ultimately, what is the definition of this one? Electroosmosis. It is the process of migration of dispersion medium particle through semi-permeable membrane under the influence of an electric field. So this is electroosmosis. Now remember this one. This is also possible when colloidal particles are charged. If colloidal particle could not have been charged, it would not have been possible. So just see, these two phenomena support the origin of charge on colloidal particle. In this way, the properties of colloidal solution is over. Now next one thing is coagulation. Coagulation. So dear cadets, just see here. Coagulation or precipitation or flocculation, meaning is same here. It is the phenomenon of precipitation of colloidal solution by adding the large amount of electrolyte. Just see, little bit confusion you may have. Just see, when I taught you peptidation, what was the definition of peptidation? Peptidation is the process of conversion of freshly prepared colloidal solution freshly prepared precipitate into colloidal solution. Okay, process of conversion of freshly prepared precipitate into colloidal solution by the addition of small amount of electrolyte. Okay, are you getting my point or not? Means one precipitate you have got, freshly you have prepared one precipitate, and by the addition of small amount of electrolyte, you are stabilizing that precipitate into colloidal solution or colloidal particle. Okay, means because of the addition of small amount of electrolyte, that precipitate will be converted into colloidal particle. Not only colloidal particle, it will be stable colloidal particle. Okay, so what is the role of electrolyte there? Electrolyte is actually stabilizing the freshly prepared precipitate. How? Just see. Just see, suppose now I am here just reminding peptidation, and I am trying hard to differentiate between coagulation, precipitation and peptidation. Just see, here which word they have used? For the coagulation or precipitation, large amount of electrolyte is added. If small amount of electrolyte is added, so that will be the peptidation. If large amount of electrolyte is added, then it will be coagulation or precipitation. If small amount of electrolyte is added, that colloidal sol or colloidal particle will be stabilized. If large excess is added, then it will be destabilized. Now I have to teach both. First I have to remind here peptidation, and then I have to teach coagulation. Let us see how the peptidation help in the stability of colloidal particle. Just see, peptidation. Just see, suppose this is the precipitate, freshly precipitate of iron hydroxide. Okay, to stabilize this one, you have added one peptizing agent, that is FeCl3. So according to the rule of common ion adsorption, this is peptizing agent. What is this one? Peptizing agent. Now you have to take this one in less amount only. So now this iron hydroxide salt, it will absorb iron ion, Fe3 positive ion. So around this one, what would be there? Positive charge. It will absorb the common ion, that is iron third ion, and it will develop positive charge around this one. Remember, you have added in less quantity only. Okay, now just see, all the colloidal particle of iron hydroxide, they will have this charge only, means at their surface which charge is adsorbed? At their surface Fe3 positive charge is adsorbed. Now all colloidal particle will have positive charge only. So because of being a similar charge particle, they will repel each other. They will repel each other. Because of this repulsion, what would be there? All those particles will not come close to each other. When they will not come close to each other, then what would be there? They will be the individual entity and they will not aggregate, they will not settle down. So here this is process of peptidization because of the addition of FeCl3, that is electrolyte. What is this one? Electrolyte. We have added here small amount of electrolyte, that is FeCl3. So it is stabilizing. Now try to understand, same thing, same electrolyte. Suppose just one word change. Suppose I have added here in excess quantity, this one excess, okay. Now this is not the moment I have added excess quantity, so this FeCl3 become coagulating agent. What is this one? Coagulating agent, okay, no problem at all. Earlier it was peptizing agent because of the addition of small amount. Now this one is a coagulating agent because of the addition of excess amount, okay. So now just try to understand, since you have added here excess quantity of FeCl3, so all the Fe3 positive ion will be adsorbed at this surface. Now since this is in excess quantity, so the more amount of Cl3 negative ion is also there, Cl single negative ion is also there. So at their surface what would be there? Those Cl3 negative ion, they will, see here you can write, this is positive charge and Cl, just see, you write this one like that, Fe3 positive plus 3Cl negative. So here what is there? Excess amount of chloride ion. Now here what would be there? Cl negative, Cl negative, Cl negative, Cl negative, Cl negative. Here also Cl negative, Cl negative, here also Cl negative. So these Cl negative, just try to understand, they will neutralize this positive charge. They will neutralize this positive charge, and at the moment, what kind of salt this one? This is positively charged salt, and now because of attraction, remember Cl negative ion is not adsorbed, they are only attracted towards this one. Why they have been attracted? Because the concentration of FeCl3, means you have taken this one in excess quantity. So these Cl negative ion, they will neutralize this positive charge, okay. And this one earlier it was positively charged salt. Now this is neutral now because their positive charge have been neutralized by Cl negative ion. So then all the FeOH whole thrice, means iron hydroxide salt particle, dispersed phase particle, they will come close to each other. Here you can write, now this peptidization word should not be here. Now I am talking of coagulating agent. So here you just write here, due to neutralization of positive charge. Here write, due to neutralization of positive charge by excess Cl negative ion, FeOH whole thrice salt will be neutral, and all salt particle come close and get precipitated. Okay, so just see, precipitated, P-I-T-A-T-E, precipitated. Just see. Who has played here role? Only the excess quantity of this one, coagulating agent. Because of this only, this positive charge was neutralized. And because of neutralization of this charge, so many colloidal particles come close to each other. And when they come close to each other, they will form the precipitate and will settle down. So they will, means this electrolyte has encouraged the colloidal particles to get precipitated. So that is why this is known as coagulating agent. And precipitation, for the precipitation, this electrolyte is only responsible. This is also known as flocculation. So ultimately, what is the definition of this one? Coagulation, precipitation or flocculation? It is the phenomenon of precipitation of colloidal solution by the addition of excess amount of electrolyte. Now remember here, there once again I am telling you, if small quantity of electrolyte you will add, so what it will be? It will be peptizing agent, and that will stabilize the precipitate. Not only stabilize, it convert the freshly prepared precipitate into colloidal particle or colloidal sol. Now here what is there? Excess quantity if you are adding. So second ion which is with the electrolyte. Earlier what was there? If less quantity you have taken, so Fe3 positive is only playing the role. Now since their concentration is more, so Cl negative will also play their role, and it will also be attracted towards the Fe3 positive, resulting into the neutralization of charge at the surface of colloidal particles, and further result is means accumulation and precipitation. Okay, so now in this way what would be there? The effect of electrolyte is just reverse to the peptization. So in this way this is also get completed. I hope that you have got this one. Now for this one means related with the coagulating power, Hardy-Schulze has proposed some rule also. They are known as Hardy-Schulze rule. Means just see, suppose positively charged sol you have got. Okay, positively charged sol you have got. So what kind of electrolyte can coagulate them, can precipitate them? A positively charged electrolyte can precipitate them. This is what kind of sol? This one, this is positively charged sol. So which ion can coagulate this one? Negatively charged ion, that is chloride ion. Iron ion will not do. Similarly, suppose here you have taken arsenic sulfide. Arsenic sulfide is the negatively charged sol. So who can coagulate them? Who can precipitate them? Positively charged ion. So remember, Hardy-Schulze rule says that the colloidal solution can be coagulated by the addition of a positively charged ion. So from where you will get the positively charged ion? You will get a positively charged ion from the electrolyte only. So in this way, dear cadets, today's duration of video is almost over. Tomorrow I will teach you the Hardy-Schulze rule, and a little bit explanation is also required. Okay, so by the time just you keep completing, and what I am hoping that you people are not preparing hard. What is there? You are involved in some here and there activity, so control yourself. In this year, like that, classes will be on, and if right now you will concentrate, so at the end you will feel less burden. Now if you will use this time as a leisure time, So later on all those burden will be piled up on your head and ultimately you will be the sufferer. And as usual I am telling you that hard work never goes in vain. So now onus is on you. What kind of result you want, that depends on your hard work. Now as you wish, from my side I will do my work as usual, as you are here only, as if you are here only.